So finally, commit to continuous learning and community engagement. So cloud's dynamic, ever changing, all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to be a lifelong learner. Now, you're never going to be in a state where you're on your cloud computing journey where you say, I understand everything. I don't need to learn, read a book, go to a conference, watch videos, take a course, and I'm ready to go. It's never going to be that way. Of course, everybody understands that, but I don't think many people are prepared to be continuous learners. And in other words, they're basically spending part of their day, every day, weekends too, understanding different aspects about the technology, where things are going, and not only understanding what the technology is doing, what the state of the technology is, but coming to your own conclusions about how it should be leveraged. One of the things when I teach my architecture class is to get my students excited about, don't just understand what's going on, but understand what it means to you, what it means to the business, what it means to the users, and be able to explain it that way. And I think that if people get into that mode, they're going to become much more of an active learner. And I think you're not going to be good at this business unless you're an active learner. So again, I would have put that on my radar screen as early as possible. So starting a cloud journey requires more than just technical proficiency. It demands strategic, holistic perspective. And I think by focusing on what we just talked about here, you're going to be much better off. And so get these on your radar screen early in your career. And I understand that everybody is in the mode of, getting certifications now and learning as much as they can. Those sorts of things, understanding about the technologies, going to the cloud conferences. And I think that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, we need to understand that technologists, and certainly architects, cloud architects, stand for the business. They don't stand for the technology. And so if you understand that, and that would have been a core pattern in all these things. In other words, it's never about the technology. It's about the people, processes, understanding the ideas and how they should be implemented. Obviously, some technology knowledge is going to go a long way because at the end of the day, we're solving problems with technology. Therefore, we have to understand what the technology does and how to apply it. But that's not the only thing we need to look at. And I think that's what many of the architects are missing right now as they're moving into this space, is not necessarily understanding the relevance of the technology as it relates back to the business. And I think understanding that early in your career is going to benefit you.